T's. How are y'all doing? It's Mark here. I'm here on a Monday morning. As you can see, I'm still doing okay. I'm still doing fine. It's a cloudy day here in New York. It's about, I think, 50 degrees when I last checked the temperature. It's probably a little warmer than that now. Probably mid 50s, possibly going close to 60. But our temperatures have dipped and now we're more into more regular-ish November weather. I'm on my way to my first client's house for the day. End of the month at my job is crazy. I never had one of those jobs before where the end of the month is like, oh, we got to get these numbers in order. We got to get these numbers in order. And I never thought that there were jobs like that in the mental health field, but boy, did this job ever teach me something different. So, because of the last of the month of every month being so stressful and hectic, I make sure that the first day of the month is not that way because I basically, for the most part, get autonomy over my own schedule. Let's see, schedule, and I do things on my own time for the part. But that's not the point of this live. The point of this live, there was something that I started on my music and mental health page last year. It was called a Monday dose of inspiration or something to that effect. Monday morning inspiration. And what that was that I realized Monday was the day that always drags for me, as it does for a lot of people. So I was like, let me try to think of a story, an anecdote, something positive for Monday that will help get me through my day. So I think one of the first or second stories that I told for that, which I do want to bring that back, by the way, but I remember one of the first or second stories I ended up telling for that. I used to share this office with these two ladies when I was in one of my jobs that I was last at in 2020. And they had different comfortability levels with the temperature of the room. So we had an air conditioner in the room that we could turn on or off. And then we had the heat, and then we had the window. So one of them liked it really hot in the room, and one of them liked it really cold in the room. So I remember this one particular day, the person who liked it cold in the room, I think they turned on the air conditioning, and the other one was like, it's too cold in here. And then the other one said, no, I actually think it's hot. What do you think, Mark? And I'm sitting here like, if anyone knows anything about me, well, I guess it might not seem like this based on the way that I speak. It looks like I go around searching for conflict, but I really don't. The reason why I have spoken to y'all about so many things that I have kind of brought the fight in those areas is because people are doing things to me that are specifically unfair. But whether the room is hot or cold, to me, was such a inconsequential thing. Like, if the room was cold that day, I remember I would just leave an extra layer, like an extra sweater in there, and put the sweater on. If it was too hot, I mean, that's why you dress in layers. I would just take off a layer, and then I would be there in my t-shirt, and I could survive. It's not like it was so crazy hot that I couldn't survive. One second. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, I remember the person who liked it cold and wanted that air conditioner on. I guess they just had a stronger personality, so we usually did what she wanted overall. But the other one would complain, and they were always fighting back and forth. So I remember when that person who turned the air conditioner on left the room, the other one says to me, Mark, honestly, what do you think of the temperature? She was annoyed with me. Why do you never say anything? We're going back and forth, but there's three of us in the room. So if two of us want one particular thing and one doesn't, like, we could just override that person. And I was like, hi, Charicity. And I was like, well, it doesn't really do me any different either way. And what do you feel? Do you feel the room is hot, or do you feel that the room is cold? I was like, well, I guess if I'm thinking of just today, how I feel right now, I think it is a little cold. And she was like, then why didn't you tell her to turn off the air conditioner? And I was like I said, I mean, I feel like it's cold, but I just put on my sweater and that's it. She was like, you know what, Mark? You remind me of that story of the frog. And I had never heard the frog story before in my life. So I didn't know what the story of the frog actually was. So I was like, oh. She was like, yeah, you know, the frog, there was this person that put this frog in a pot and the temperature was like lukewarm, and then they turned the temperature up a little bit, and then the frog stayed in the pot. And I was like, oh, I'm thinking that she's complimenting me and telling me that I'm adaptable. She's like, I was thinking that she was telling me like, oh, it's really cool how you don't get bothered by different things and you can just adapt and adjust based on what's happening around you. And then she was like, yeah, so the person put the frog in the pot and they kept turning the temperature up a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more until the pot came to a boil. And by the time the frog realized what was happening, the frog was basically cooked. And I was like, I thought this was a compliment, but this doesn't really sound like a compliment. And it was not a compliment. That's why it didn't sound like one. She was basically trying to tell me that I'm the frog in that pot that just kind of conforms to whatever's happening around me, number one. And it's like, oh, I feel a little bit warmer, but I'm not going to say anything until next thing you know, I'm cooked, essentially. So she's saying you're getting cooked. So basically, it's an analogy that I took with me outside of that setting. Like in that specific setting, I still feel the same way. Like if I was to go in an office with a couple of people, unless they were opening the window in like 10-degree weather or something like that, then I'd be like, that's crazy, close the window. But if it's like 60 degrees and I feel a bit chilly, I'll put on a sweater. I have other things to do. I'm not arguing over that. But in general in life, if you let people turn the temperature up on you a little bit and you always just adapt to what they're doing instead of enforcing your boundaries, then that is going to be you. You are going to be the person who they try a little bit and then they see what they can get away with and then they turn it more and they turn it more. Like that person has the intention of cooking your boundaries. And if you just sit there and allow them to turn the dial without giving any pushback, that's what's going to happen. So that's just a lesson for you to take on Monday. It's a lesson that I've learned in my life. It's also a lesson that's in my book that I'm still putting it out there, that I would love to get an editor for that book, an editor that is budget friendly, because I've had this book that is basically completely done, that has been written. I've had it completely done for like a year, but I need an editor so I can publish it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. That's my message for Monday. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I hope you all enjoy your Mondays. And I'll talk to you soon.